30 seconds na.
Anong,
Bigla ako kami. 20 seconds. Wala na akong trabaho bukas.
I know.
Balik ko on air.
Diyos ko, dito pa, dami namang
Seconds pala ah.
dami na namang naka-walk-in sa frame, di ba?
Pababa ng audio, naka-live na daw.
Bilang Pilipino.
The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The CBCP, or Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, says it will allow priests to endorse candidates for the upcoming elections. Father Jerome Ceciliano, Executive Secretary of the CBCP Public Affairs Committee, told the chiefs that they will instead just give insights to help people make a proper decision on whom to vote. Ceciliano says the CBCP as an institution will not be endorsing any candidates.
When we speak of an individual priest, he's a voter, and then he's a Filipino, and so therefore he has a right to express his opinion at siguro magbanggit ng kandidato na gusto niya at ng kandidato na ayaw niya. But when it comes to the institution, it's very clear. No? Sabi ko nga, from history, wala naman tayong nakita na ginawa ng CBCP na nag-endorse o di kaya nag-negative campaign. Walang pong ganun.
And Presidential Bet Leody de Guzman says he does not support the new People's Army or NPA. However, de Guzman explained on Sa Totoo Lang that he understands where the members of the group are coming from. De Guzman noted that injustices remain rampant, forcing certain sectors to take up arms. Should he win the presidency, the labor leader said that he will address their struggles to avoid any armed conflict with the government.
Hindi ko kinakabig o sinusuportahan yung kailang paghahawak ng armas. Ang gusto ko, matigil na sila sa paghahawak ng armas at ang gagawin ko, tugunan yung mga makatarungan at may mga historical na mga tuntungan na kahilingan nitong mga nag-aarmas na ito. Alsan natin ang dahilan. Alsan natin ang dahilan ng kailang pag-aarmas.
And the government is all set on easing travel restrictions for fully vaccinated foreign tourists. But the tourism department says that it is not expecting a mad rush of tourists just yet. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez with the report.
For the first time in nearly 2 years, the country is welcoming foreign tourists again. Beginning February 10, those who are fully vaccinated from non-visa countries are free to enter and won't have to do quarantine. Boracay also just announced it will no longer require RT-PCR tests for fully vaccinated travelers. Tour operators say they're already getting inquiries.
There's already a spike up in inquiries, especially for leisure travelers, as they are now very excited to see their favorite destinations again in Japan and the other Asian countries, most especially Korean.
The move follows similar developments around the region, with the Indonesian island of Bali and all of Thailand also reopening after a long shutdown. But the tourism department said it's not like there will be a rush of incoming travelers right away. That's because our top tourist markets like Korea and Japan still impose quarantines for returning residents.
Baka April, May, or June. Yung expected probably to come would be for business or probably mga balikbayans.
The relaxing of borders at a time when daily case counts remain high have drawn criticism from some quarters. But the industry says it's about time, given the high vaccine coverage and tourism's large contribution to the overall economy. DOT said all major attractions like Boracay and Baguio are now 100% vaccinated.
This good news of reopening the borders will definitely boost not just the tourism industry, but the whole businesses in the country.
Meanwhile, Secretary Puyat estimates that it will take Siargao, one of the worst hit by Typhoon Odette, 3 to 4 years to get back on its feet. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, We Are One News.
The Philippines logged its lowest daily caseload in almost 1 month on Tuesday. Despite these improving figures, though, the U.S. government advises its citizens to avoid travel to the Philippines. Mon Gualvez reports.
The health department saw a drop in the number of new COVID-19 patients just as Metro Manila reverted back to alert level 2. As of 4 p.m. on Tuesday, there were more than 9,000 new COVID-19 cases logged in the Philippines, the lowest in almost a month. The Octa Research Group believes the figures will go down even further in the next 2 weeks. But they're still apprehensive about the government's decision to place certain areas in the country, including NCR, on alert level 2 this early.
Possible na baka pinatagal muna ng mga 1 to 2 weeks yung alert level 3. Ano yung dahilan dyan? Yung dahilan ay medyo mataas pa rin yung positivity rate natin. Nasa 17% pa yung positivity rate. And yung ADAR natin ay nasa mga 19 pa per 100,000 per day.
Yesterday, commuters also felt the easing of health and safety restrictions as the no vaccine, no ride policy got suspended.
Pagka yung iba kasi walang vaccine, sir, na nadadami pa kami mga may vaccine.
Vaccine cards were no longer required in public utility vehicles. But we still spotted some passengers who have them on hand.
Dala ko lang po talaga araw-araw. Para sigurado, walang hassle.
Para sigurado lang po, baka mamaya hindi makapasok eh. Mahirap na.
Alert level 2 guidelines also now allow children to go out more freely. That's why in this mall in Mandaluyong, we saw a lot of kids roaming around. There were no more requests for a vaccination card upon entry. Only the QR code of the city for contact tracing. Compared to previous alert level or quarantine status shifts in the capital region, this time, the Metro Manila Council no longer gave their recommendation but instead just complied with the IATF's decision. However, the DILG insists it should still be up to the LGU if they're still going to restrict the unvaccinated from going out. Just like in Pasay City, where there's an ordinance that still disallows the unvaccinated to go out of their homes unless it's for essentials like work, food, or medicine. MMDA Chairman Benhur Abalos sees no problem with this.
Ever since, be it Delta, be it the Wuhan virus, be it the South African or the UK, tanungin natin sarili natin, saan nagsimula lahat ito? Di ba always NCR at saan lugar? Di ba Pasay? Siguro may dahilan din si Mayora kaya niya ginawa rin ito, no, for the unvaxxed.
But despite the easing restrictions in the country, the United States apparently still doesn't think it's a good idea to travel here. Based on the latest advisory from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Philippines remains one of the countries with high COVID-19 infections due to the Omicron variant, along with Mexico, Brazil, Singapore, Ecuador, Paraguay, and Kosovo. Malacanang has yet to comment on the advisory issued by the U.S. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, We Are One News.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The national government's outstanding debt has hit 11.7 trillion pesos in 2021, almost 20% higher year on year. This brings the debt to GDP ratio to 60%, which the Bureau of Treasury says is still within the acceptable threshold. The COMELEC has turned over the source codes of the automated election system to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The codes, which are now in a secure vault, contain human-readable instructions that dictate how the systems will operate. And Octa has observed a downward COVID-19 trends in the cities of Bacolod, Cebu, Iloilo, Lapu-Lapu, Mandaue, Ormoc, and Tacloban. However, the research group noted that there are still areas in the Visayas which remain under very high risk category. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.